Well, here we are. I had an abortive experience earlier in the day, but we're patient. We persevere, don't we, Pat? And we bring the
Absolutely. And
knowledge to the
considering,
masses.
excuse me, Dr. Collins, considering the fact this is 12th of July and this is your birthday, God bless you.
Make sure I don't
Uh,
fall down.
yeah,
But my nurse was just off screen here.
yes. I was about to ask you what age you are, but I'm not going to bother.
No, don't bother. The trouble with that is you get trapped. I think I have a feeling that you get trapped into that.
What do you
If you
mean?
count your ages, especially if you're old like me,
Yeah.
people start thinking about you that way, and the next thing you start acting that way. And that's not
No,
good news.
never do that.
Not
Never.
good news. Okay,
Not good.
we're going to be
Right, go for
really
it.
sharp and swift and to the point. 15 minutes, dearest
Yes.
listener and viewer, 15 minutes at the maximum, 5 minutes per topic, because we find that you're not looking at us after 15 minutes anyway. So what's the point in this going on? Right. Topic one. Moy Gashel, you saw something, Pat, that upset you a little bit because of a stupid comparison.
James, I saw him this morning and I was watching a wee bit yesterday. My gosh, loyalism or unionism or I don't know what they call them, or orange order, or whatever you want to call these days. My gosh, they've built this pallet, very tall pallet bonfire. And on top of it, I'm not sure whether it's a real car or a mock-up car. There's conflicting sort of, somebody said it was put there with a crane. Other people said it's a mock-up. I don't know, but it's a police car. And they've got posters of Jerry Kelly of Sinn Féin and the former DUP leader, Sir Geoffrey Donaldson. But anyway, to get to the point, Jamie Bryson, that genius of loyalism, said this was actually a sort of cultural statement of artistic merit. And I was looking at it and going, thinking to myself, absolute bollocks, complete utter rubbish. And he
Why,
said,
Pat? Why is that not artistic modern art? Like,
not at all. He said it was an artistic message. And anyway, bottom line, he says a lot of the elite and the intelligentsia were raving about kneecap, and he thought this was the loyalist equivalent, a statement of culture. Now, Jude, if you think burning pallets and putting a police car on top of it is culture, and here's my final point. I always had this idea, rightly or wrongly, culture was music, dance, poetry, architecture, whatever. Go on, you're a learned man. Dr. Collins, explain to me what and under God, what defines culture by burning wooden pallets with a police car on top?
well, I agree with you on that, but just very briefly, if you go into some of these modern art galleries, you'll get stuff you'd never have thought of as being art. I saw where Bobby Bala gave out about that and said that he was never described himself as an artist anymore. He described himself as a painter because some of the stuff that passed as art was rubbish.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. I mean, maybe too like Tracy Emin got what was it, some award for an unmade
for the
bed.
unmade bed. Yeah.
You think I was rubbish?
Absolute rubbish. Here, Michael Parkinson's definition of talent, I totally agree with, concur with. He said talent is something that somebody can do that the most of us can't do. He says, like, sing like Bing Crosby or Frank Sinatra, paint like Rembrandt or El Greco or Michelangelo or whatever. Now, remember, there was a famous sociologist called Raymond Williams. Remember, there was FDR Davis or FR Davis. Remember, he said art was only classical music and classical paint.
Yes.
Raymond Williams said, if you're driving in the countryside and you've seen a beautiful ploughed field, he says that was the most culture in its own way. Now, there's a certain element of truth in that, but Jude, go on, explain to me. And you have a much more experience of this since you were born the 12th of July. A car on top of pallets, a bonfire. Go on, explain the culture. Jude, I don't get. And by the way, I am saying, just another point. Doug Beattie of the UUP said it was pathetic, and the image loyalism was projecting to the world. I think that's what he said. Anyway, that's enough for me.
Well, I think if they'd left it at the pallets and the big pile very high, because the guy did a hang gliding thing off the top of it, that's how high it was.
Yeah.
If they'd left it at that with all the red, white, and blue, and even with the posters of the various nationalist politicians that they detest, even they'd left it at that, I think, or even developed it, maybe more artwork around it at different levels. I think it could have passed that off as art. But what brings it to me as not art is to say, I'm never going to burn it down. It's like saying, I'm going to paint this beautiful painting. Now I stand back and I'm going to put a knife through it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
No,
I sometimes think
there's nothing permanent or significant about it. What's significant when something that lasts for, we build it up to a height and says, oh, that's just wonderful. Look, we've got the highest bonfire. Big bloody deal.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I think I could have been persuaded if they hadn't burnt the thing down. I think in a way, at a subconscious level, they are representing unionism.
Why?
Which once was so dominant and is now busy crashing around their ears.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I have no doubt about it, Jude.
So the biters despite themselves.
But there's somebody on this morning about the fact that unionism is fracturing all over the place, and we mentioned it earlier. Some of these pundits are saying, particularly Ruth Dudley Edwards and Ben Lowry and people like that are trying to no, there's no significance in the rise of Sinn Féin. And I'm going, wait a minute, who's trying to kid here? When I was a young fella, there was 18 seats or whatever it was in at Westminster, and I think one of them just belonged to John Hume. I think I was in Derry. I was about it, and then the other 15 or whatever it was or 16 was spread over various farms and unions. Now, Jude, Sinn Féin is, let's get it on the record one more time, the biggest party in Westminster, the biggest party in the Assembly at Stormont, and the biggest party in local government. And then Ben Lowry and Ruth Dudley Edwards and people are saying, oh, nothing's changed.
Hi. Well, I was looking at an old YouTube interview with Mark McGuinness, and he was boasting that they were not just a paramilitary outfit, but they were politicians, and they had 1/8.
Yeah, you mentioned that. You're saying
and he was boasting, not boasting about it, but he was saying that a validation of what we do. No, that's not. We're a long way from 1/8 now.
Absolutely,
yes, I quite agree. Anyway, we'll leave the artistic thing and we'll move across the Atlantic. Per Joe Biden. My heart always sort of went out to him when he come down the stairs of a plane, but now I don't know whether it goes out or not. What about you?
I fundamentally, I've at a really profound level disagree with Joe Biden on Israel. I really genuinely think it's disgraceful, right? But we'll leave that aside. By the way, any American politician, let's live in the real world. Whatever system they got going there, the American politician, to get elected, you have to be on the side of Israel. Let's get that right. Now, let's move on to the substantive thing you're asking about. Jude, I think he should go. I think he should hand it in. He referred to Donald Trump as Vice President Trump. He mixed him up with Kamala Harris. Then he referred to Vladimir, what do you call him, Zelensky as Putin, President Putin. Now, Jude, that's good for maybe an hour left, but for a laugh. But you can imagine in Ukraine, and Russia, the Russians will love that. They'll play that all the rest of it. It's symbolic of the fact that even the Americans think that Putin is president of Ukraine. I know you might think that's only a joke, but it's not. And a lot of people in America and in Ukraine have been working a long time to delineate that's Russia, this is Ukraine, and that sort of thing there is.
He didn't. To be fair to him, Pat, he didn't mix up Ukraine and Russia. He just had a mistake in terms of calling Kamala Harris as Trump, I think it was, and Zelensky as Putin. So a bit of a mix-up, and he corrected himself at least one of the two occasions. Does that really matter? Just a stumble like that on an individual name, two individual names, that doesn't mean he couldn't be a good president.
No, Jim, it's not just that. His performance on the debate with Trump was a disaster. Like he ended up he was asked a question and he totally lost focus in the middle, and he started referring to someone about Medicare and all the rest of it. The two things together, and let's get George Clooney, I think, summed it up perfectly. He said he met Biden in 2010, and he says Joe Biden, he says he met him in 2010 and 2020. He says Joe Biden is not even the person he met in 2020. He says he met him 3 weeks ago, and he says he's not the same man at all. And the second thing he said was the Americans, the electorate are being told to unsee what they saw. That it was a poor performance the other night, or not the other night, and the debate with Trump.
Yeah. Well, I'd agree that he failed miserably as far as the debate was concerned. Yeah. I know there are people who would argue that, as a president, you're not being tested as a debater, that you're making big decisions. And they do say that he was a very good president for the last 4 years. But when I see his body language, even when he comes out on stage, you know, his eyes will widen. It's this old. He did this when he was in Ireland as well, as if he was surprised. His eyes widening, and he holds his hands up like this, and then he talks with hardly moving his lips. I think that's unfair to the guy. But as I've always said, how a guy looks, how a person, a politician looks, is very important in terms of the confidence you can put in them. And I'm not sure that that's something anybody feels. Do you think that the Democrats will? Two questions. Do you think the Democrats will drop him?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more. I would agree with you. There's more and more. I think there was 3 more come out today. And
it's gathering momentum.
Pretty sure he's going to win. They're going to win.
Yeah.
Secondly, who do you think will succeed, and will they succeed in beating Trump? More important.
Well, they're looking. By the way, there was Bonnie Greer, I think it was. She's what do you call it, a black lady who's, I think, one of the sort of culture vultures. And she's always on when they're looking for an American opinion. She says some of the spin about Kamala Harris is actually. She says he's only 2 percentage point behind Trump in the opinion polls. That's number one. The governor of California, Gavin, I think it's Newsom. Apparently, he is a very good guy. But the one person he thinks they can salvage this from the rubbish pit is Michelle Obama. But she apparently has said on more than one occasion, not a hope in hell. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want the security. She doesn't want the lifestyle. She doesn't want the responsibility. And of course, if she ran for it, the first thing the Republicans would say, she's just a surrogate for her husband.
That's right. She'd have to be answerable for all the things that he has done, good or bad. I don't think she'd be a good choice, actually. I think it'd be better to go with maybe a man from California, or obviously other people besides that. But
Kamala Harris too, Jude.
I don't know. If she was a good politician, she would have been more visible over the last 4 years.
But apparently, I can't remember. I was listening to a bit in RT. Apparently, they give her something about building the wall or immigration or something. Something they knew. Biden apparently has people don't like her. But anyway, bottom line is she was very competent a couple of years ago, so she didn't suddenly become incompetent.
Well, the thing to do is to put her up. And let's see her talk to somebody. No, have a debate, and let's see if she's good. She looks right. Whether she be right,
and she's very intelligent. Yeah.
But the important thing, I think, is to get Trump, get Biden out of the picture as quickly as possible. It's almost painful. It's unnatural cruelty, I think.
By the way, Clooney made a very good point. He says, he says your heart's in your mouth, sort of thing, when he's coming down the stairs of the airplane. And he says, he says, nearly turning down the sound when he's asked a sort of random question. He says, because you're waiting, where is he going? Is there going to be another gaffe here?
That's true. I sympathise with him because I say the wrong thing now and again. I'm not running for president
of America. And we don't have our fingers on the nuclear button either, do we?
And more's the pity, Pat. More's the pity. Okay, final item. Spain, football, England. What do you think? Did you watch the game against...
I think it's written in the stars that England are going to win.
Do you think so? I have that sort
of sneaking feeling they don't.
Yeah. They're saying, that he is like the manager, Gareth Southgate, is like Keir Starmer, that it's this steady, unspectacular, and really efficient in the end. Do you draw that comparison?
I think, no, let's get this straight. I think Southgate's a genuinely nice fella. I really believe it. He's a very modest, sort of nice fella. Apparently, he treats all the media people he deals with very respectful, and everybody's nothing but a good word for him. But here's the thing, Jude. They were losing a match with 80 seconds to go. They scored. Jude Bellingham scored. They won another match on penalties. The other night, Wednesday night, they won with a goal in the last minute. Italy, by the way, and when Italy won it 4 years ago, Italy were crap, absolute rubbish, and they were outplayed in the final by England, and they kept playing for penalties, and they won on penalties. I just get this impression: Spain are by far the best team, but I'm almost, by the way, on talent, Spain should win 2 or 3-0. But someone tells me England's going to win.
Those are exactly my own feelings. Do you remember the time that Liverpool were 3 down at half time in European final? I remember one of the commentators at after the thing went to full time. They were saying, will England be able to do it at this stage? He says, I certainly will. I just feel it's going to happen. And sure enough, it happened. Unbelievable.
So, you know, that sort of thing, you just sort of say, it's written in the stars. You know, Spain can do whatever they like. They can be brilliant and all the rest of it, but it'll be a fluky goal. There'll be a VAR decision, or there'll be something. That's, hey, by the way, Spain should definitely win it based on a talent, ability, and on performances so far. But that doesn't count for nothing. What do you see? Maybe England will totally stifle them, and they won't, you know, and you know Yamal or Kamal, the 16-year-old.
Oh yes.
And, you know, and the other guy, Nelson, I think they have been the stars of the tournament so far.
Well, you and I are going to look very stupid if Spain wins, because I agree with you completely. I think that somehow or another England is smart. And
but by the way, Dr. Collins, before we finish, as long as Donegal beat Galway on Sunday, I don't give a. You know.
Here, just before you go, solve a wider question that you posed. Why is it that we don't support England, and yet we're very interested in the English league, or the Premier League?
Yeah, I was asked that question the other day in the Templemore Sports Complex. There's a guy, and he says, "Look, he says there's a lot of hypocrisy." And I says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Sport is sport; it's not politics." And he says, "Yeah," he says. He said, I know guys here, he says, would punch you in the face if you said something about, about wrong about Manchester United or Liverpool and all the rest of it. And he says, these boys are fanatical. He says, they go over to Celtic matches, they go over to Manchester United matches, they go over to Liverpool matches, spend a lot of money. And he says, they are fanatical. And he says, yet when England play Russia or Poland or something, they're out cheering for. He says, how many Irish people have ever gone to Poland or Russia or wherever? He says, and what good have ever they done us? So he says, I don't get this, and so on. And I says, well, there's a small matter of 800 years of history, and I don't think you can actually sort of whitewash away the politics of it all. But he says, no, he says, I don't get it. He says, is that duality? How come they're able to support all these English teams, and then when the England team, the same players that they're cheering when they're playing for Liverpool or Manchester United, they're booing them when they're playing for England.
I think myself, it is this sense Irish people particularly have, although it applies to Scotland and Wales as well, that the English are slightly a superiority complex. There's a sense in which they say, God, good old Ireland, they're doing very good.
Pat us on the head.
For them now. Gallant lads, well, good call. So I think that really rankles with a lot of people. And as you say, maybe at the back of it all is this sense that what favors has England done for us? I know I'm tempting to, what what was it, the Monty Python thing about what did the Romans ever do?
What have the Romans ever done for us? Education.
Exactly. Water and food.
Water, sewage, whatever.
Anyway, you'll be cheering it. Will you watch every moment of the game?
Oh, yeah. By the way, Jude, let's get this clear. I won't be breaking my heart if England won. Far from it. But my sympathies would be with Spain.
And you sort of feel they've earned it in a way, England, because they have come through some rough times, and the manager in particular. Okay, before we leave, I want to say something I never said before, Pat. I gather that underneath our lovely faces, there is a thing that says subscribe. And I'm saying to anybody who's watching this that hasn't subscribed, click on it, because that'll mean anytime our marvelous conversations come up, you'll be informed in your email. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that a good idea?
Isn't that a classic, yes? And on that, so please subscribe.
Oh, please. Okay, right, Pat, thanks very much. All the best.
Bye, Jude.